Okay, good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss about analytic function and Cauchy-Riemann equations. Okay, here is the definition of analytic function, that is a function fz, that means your complex function, okay, is said to be analytic at a point z equal to z0 in the complex plane if it is differentiable at point z equal to z0 and at each point Zn which are neighborhood of Z0. That means suppose this is your complex plane. Okay. We have a function fz. This function will be called as analytic at a particular point Z0 in the complex plane if this function will be differentiable at this point and also differentiable at its neighborhoods at all the points. We have to take other points neighborhood of this z0, also this function is going to be differentiable. Then we can say that this function fz will be analytic at this point z0. Okay, next, hence a function fz is said to be analytic in a domain if it is analytic everywhere of the domain. So here we discussed that a function fz will be analytic at a point z0 if it will be differentiable at z0 and also differentiable at neighborhood points. Suppose we are going to consider a region or domain here. So if this function is going to be called as an analytic function in this region, then this function also differentiable at each and every point inside this region. Okay. So we know that a function fz will be called as differentiable. That means it has limit at that point. Limit exists at that point and continuous also. So here this function fz is differentiable, can be differentiable, means f dash z can be found if this function is continuous at this point and also limit exists for this function at z equal to 0. Then we can say that the differentiable or differentiation of this function will be possible at z equal to 0, or we can say that this function is analytic at z equal to 0. Z equal to z0. Similarly, if this function is continuous in this region and each and every point limit can be exist, then we can say that this function is analytic in this domain. Okay. So here I am going to give a simple example. You just watch. Suppose this is a region. Here we are going to identify a function is to be analytic or not analytic. Suppose this function is like this. So here at this point the function is analytic, means here this function is continuous. Yes, this function is continuous and limit also can be exist at this point. So we can say this function can be differentiable at this point and nearby any point we are going to take also the function is continuous and limit is exist. But another function we are going to consider, suppose this is a function, this is another function, suppose another function f1z, suppose this is your f1z, suppose. That means at this point this function f1z suddenly increased. So at this point if we want to find out the slope df by dz, if we want to find out the slope, then this slope does not exist. That means here at the sharp edge the slope may be this one, maybe this one, maybe this one. So slope could not be defined at this point. That means this function could not be differentiable. So whenever the function has its characteristics at a point that is sharp increase or sharp decrease. Suppose a function, this one sharp decrease at a point, then at this point we could not define its slope. You can see, suppose along this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. So here if we are going to consider this region, so change of dy is there, but here change of x is approximately 0, so it will be infinite. That means at this point this kind of function where that function is sharply increases or sharply decreases at a particular point, that particular point the function could not be called as analytic. Okay, but other points it is analytic, other points it is analytic, but at this point where it is sharply increased or sharply decreased, could not be defined its slope perfectly, or could not be defined its we could not define exact slope. Slope could maybe this way or this way, so number of slope can be possible. So hence at this point the function could not be called as analytic. And another method in your mathematical physics is that by using Cauchy-Riemann equations also we can found the function is analytic or not analytic. Means we can identify the function may be analytic or not analytic by using Cauchy-Riemann equations. Or you can say that Cauchy-Riemann equations are the tools by help of which you can identify the function is a analytic function or not analytic function. Okay, so that we are going to derive. A analytic function also called as holomorphic function or regular function. Here is the some examples of analytic function, that is sin z, cos z, and e to the z, etc. The analytic function fz can be verified by using Cauchy-Riemann equations. So Cauchy-Riemann equations are the tools which can verify the analytic function that we are going to discuss now. Cauchy-Riemann equations. Consider a function fz of complex variable, that is z equal to x plus iy. It can be written as fz equal to real part, that is your real function is uxy plus imaginary function vxy I vxy, like this. So here uxy xy is nothing but your real part of fz and vxy is nothing but your imaginary part of fz. So here the theorem states that according to this theorem, carefully you have to watch and pause the video and write the note. This theorem is necessary condition. Okay, another sufficient condition we are going to discuss. First necessary condition is that if fz equal to ux plus I vy is differentiable at a point z in the complex plane, then partial derivatives of uxy and vxy exist and satisfy the equations as del u by del x. Carefully you have to write del u by del x equal to del v by del y and del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x. If we have a function and this is its real part and imaginary part, both have the partial derivative follows this relation, then we can say that this function fz will be the analytic at a point z in the complex plane. That means the function has to be satisfied del u by del x equal to del v by del y and del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x. That we have to prove. That is again I have written here del u by del x equal to del v by del y and del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x. These equations are called Cauchy-Riemann equations. So a function is analytic means that function has to obey these equations. Okay, or any function obeys these relations, that means that function is analytic. So here as fz is differentiable at z, suppose we are going to consider a function fz is differentiable at a point z in the complex plane. So that means this function is differentiable at z, that can be written as f dash z equal to limit del z tends to 0 f z plus del z minus f z divided by del z. Let it is your equation number 1. This is the standard format that we have to write the first derivative of a function. Suppose we know that f dash x, we know how we are going to write. That is your limit del x tends to 0 f x plus del x minus fx by del x. These things we know from our plus 2. So here likewise, if fz is differentiable, then standard format in the limiting form will be written in this form. So as this function is differentiable, hence limit will be exist, and the limit along any two path must be equal. So if we are going to take along this path and this path, limit has to be equal. Any path we have to consider to find out the limit at z, both are will be exist and both are will be equal. So here we have been considered two path, path 1 and path 2. Now we are going to find out the limit at along this path and this path. Limit will be exist and the limit along any two path must be equal as shown in the figure. Now fz equal to uxy plus ivxy, that whatever we have been written, it is the general form of a complex function. It is real part plus I complex into imaginary part. Okay. So f z plus del z can be written as u function of x plus del x, y plus del y plus I v function of x plus del x, y plus del y. Also z equal to x plus iy means del z will be del x plus I del y. Okay. Now the equation number 1, what we can write, limit here del z can be written as del x tends to 0, del y tends to 0, and instead of f z plus del z, f z plus del z, we can write this much. We have been written this one minus fz. Instead of fz, we can write this one. Okay, uxy plus I vxy whole divided by del z is nothing but del x plus I del y, del x plus I del y. Let it is your equation number 2. Now here we consider two way or two path by which del z approaches to 0, that is your figure. Here we consider two path or two way. Path 1, first we have to consider path 1 for which del y is not changes. Del y is not changes. Okay, because it is parallel to the motion is parallel to the x-axis, so hence del y is not changes, only del x is going to be changed. So del y equal to 0, then del z tends to 0, that is del x tends to 0. So here along the path 1, if del y equal to 0, then for del z tends to 0, only del x tends to 0 we can write. Only del x tends to 0 for the path 1. For the path 2, you can see this is the motion along this way, which is parallel to y axis, means del x tends to equal to 0 and del y tends to 0. So if we are going to substitute del x equal to 0, then del z tends to 0 where del y tends to 0, that we have to consider. So for path 2 in which del x equal to 0, as del z tends to 0, hence del y tends to 0. Now we have to consider case 1 for path 1 where del y equal to 0, that implies del z equal to del x tends to 0. So the equation number 2 will be the equation number 2. Here equation number 2 we are going to consider for the path 1 del y equal to 0. That means here del y 0, we have to consider del y also we are going to consider 0, and only del x tends to 0 here we have to write. So f dash z will be equal to del y equal to 0 means del x tends to 0, and it will be u into x plus del x. I told that here del y equal to 0 means y, iv x plus del x, here del y 0 means y only we have to write. So I v x plus del xy minus u xy minus I v xy whole divided by del y 0 means only del x. Now separate the real part and imaginary part. Here u x plus del xy and uxy both are real part. I have been written the two terms collectively here. U x plus del xy minus uxy by del x plus I, both these are both imaginary terms. I have been written collectively here v x plus del xy minus v xy by del x. Okay, so limit del x tends to 0. Here we can write same thing I have been written, not changed anything. Okay, so I here limit del x tends to 0 this term plus I limit del x tends to 0 this term. Okay, so this is nothing but your del u by del x. This is nothing but the derivative of u. Del x tends to 0. Here I written that limit del x tends to 0 f del x plus del x minus fx by del x. See, here you see u, which is the function of x plus del x and y. Here this u is the function of both, but here I consider this is only the function of x. So here f x plus del x minus fx by del x is nothing but your del f by del x. Okay, likewise here del x tends to 0, u along x-axis only changes. So x plus del x minus u xy. Here u x plus del xy minus u xy by del x. Obviously it will be del u by del x. So here limit del x tends to 0, v along x-axis the value has been changed. V x plus del x y minus v xy whole divided by del x means this is the differentiation or the change of v with respect to x. The change of v function with respect to x only. So we can write del v by del x. Let it is your equation number 3. Now we have to consider case 2 path 2 where del x equal to 0 and del z, so that implies del z equal to del y tends to 0. So the equation number 2 will be, you just put over here del x equal to 0, here del x equal to 0, del x equal to 0, here del x equal to 0. Then it will be limit del y tends to 0 u x y plus del y plus I v x y plus del y minus u xy minus I v xy by I del y. I have been segregated the real and imaginary parts. Real and imaginary part of the numerators. See, u x y plus del y minus u x y both are the real part on the numerator. So I collectively written whole divided by I del y plus I v x y plus dy minus v x y whole divided by I del y. So separately I considered the limit of this term and this term. So limit del y tends to 0 of this one, limit del y tends to 0 of this one. So f dash z, so limit del y tends to 0 u x y plus del y minus u x y by I del y plus limit y tends to 0 v x y del y minus v x y by del y. So this is nothing but the change of u with respect to y. Okay, change of u. See, x is same, only y along y axis the function u has been changed with respect to y. So this is with when del y tends to 0, that means this is the derivative or the differentiation of u with respect to y. So 1 by I as such it will be here, and this is nothing but your del u by del y. Okay, plus this is nothing but del v by del y. Here you can see here I has been common, got cancelled. Okay, and we got this one. This is nothing but the first partial derivative of v, or that means change of v with respect to y del v by del y. So it can be written as I. We know that if this I gone to numerator, it will be minus I. So it will be del v by del y minus I del u by del y. Let it is your equation number 4. Two limits obtained as f dash z exist. in equation number 3, 4 must be equal. So here two limits, that is in your equation number 3 we got f dash z, and equation number 4 also same f dash z we got by the two path, by considering two path. So if f dash z is exist or analytic, that means both are should be equal, that means equation number 3 and equation number 4 should be equal. So hence del u by del x plus I del v by del x, plus I del v by del x, this is your equation number 3, has to be equal with equation number 4, that will be del v by del y minus I del u by del y. Let it is your equation number 5. Now we are going to compare the real and imaginary parts of this equation number 5. We can get the so-called Cauchy-Riemann equations. So del u by del x equal to, this is the real part, this side also real part is this one, del v by del y, del u by del x equal to del v by del y, and here del v by del x equal to minus del u by del y, or we can write del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x. So these two initially we intend to prove that del u by del x equal to del v by del y and del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x. So here we have been proved. So these are the two conditions, two equations that a function if obey, then that function will be called as analytic function. Okay, so the above two equations or CR equation means Cauchy-Riemann equations are derived by considering only two specific paths. So above equation are necessary but not sufficient condition. Here to find out or to prove the Cauchy-Riemann equation, we only consider the two paths. So how we are going to accept that this will be 100% acceptable conditions that the a function has to obey, and we are going to be called as the function will be analytic. So as we are considering only two paths, so here we can accept that these two equations are the only necessary conditions that a function is to be a analytic. So simply I'm going to be say to you, if fz, we have a fz function, suppose we have a complex function, any complex function that is fz, and this function obey these two equations, then we can say that this function is a analytic function. Okay, this is necessary condition. Sufficient condition, what? That we are going to discuss in our next class or next video. So I suggest to all of you that you write these things, whatever I explained about necessary conditions or Cauchy-Riemann equations of analytic function. So thank you so much for watching this video. So in the next class we are going to discuss sufficient conditions for a function to be analytic. Okay, thank you so much for watching.